This is a continuation of my Back to Basics series. To view the entire series, click the playlist link in the description. This video will go over mostly everything you need to know about C-boosts and similar boosts, including C-boosts, held C-boosts, large C-boosts, irregular boosts, and the Art of Pressing CTRL. If you already know all of these tricks, consider checking out my Contend for World Record series, where I go through every dash step by step and explain what tricks I use and how to do them. Also, keep in mind I upload videos showing me hitting all of these tricks 5 times each, and the link is always in the description. So if you need more examples, it's there. I'm going to start having less of an intro to these videos. If you need more information about the series, watch the first 2 videos in the playlist. As for this video, it starts now. C-boosts. C-boosts are an intermediate level trick that you will use if you want to see better results all over the game. The end goal of a C-boost is to get a faster boost than a wall boost in specific areas where they are possible. You will do this by using the speed the game gives you to transfer your wall run from a wall to objects on it. This speed does not last long, and it is important that you jump off during the time that you have it. For C-boosts, you will want to find an area in the game that has a wall that is possible to wall run on, next to an object that juts out of the wall. A good example of this are the delivery boxes scattered all across the game, such as this one. For this video, I will be using this boost that is near the end of High Roller Avenue, and I suggest you use something similar to this and create a time trial yourself so it would be easier to practice. For C-boosts like this, you'll want to stand around a 45-degree angle from the corner of the object you will be using to boost. You should also be placing your reticle on the wall and not the object, as your goal is to start a wall run on the wall first. Once you've gotten a setup similar to this one, you should start running at the corner at full speed, and just before you reach the corner, jump. This is very important. Don't jump too early. This should start a wall run on the wall and transfer your wall run to the object, giving you a small burst of speed. If it does not, your setup is the problem and you should adjust it. This trick works both ways, whether the wall be on your left or right. Once you have gotten this wall run reliably, you'll want to practice jumping as soon as you get the speed boost. This will take some practice to get the timing correct, but at this point it's just holding W and 2 jumps, the second jump being slightly delayed. You should practice this until you get the boost semi-reliably. After this, you should be getting a decent speed boost, but you're locked to the direction you're facing. For the final part of this trick, you should implement mouse movement in between the first and second jump. This may also help your timing if you are performing the 2 jumps too close to each other. You have a surprising amount of movement available to you, so don't be afraid to fling your mouse and jump in different directions. You should keep practicing this until you can get it around 75% of the time. Then go around and try to find different objects around the world this could apply to. The best way to learn is to experiment with it and see what you can and can't do. But keep in mind, the larger the object, the harder the boost is. And I'll elaborate on this later in the video. Held C-boosts. Held C-boosts are an alternate way to get a C-boost, but in most cases you should not use it and use a regular C-boost instead, as held C-boosts are very unreliable in comparison. But nonetheless, in some scenarios it might be required, such as when you have no floor to stand on for your boost. A held C-boost starts very different from a regular C-boost. Start a wall run on the same wall that you'd usually use, but a lot earlier down the wall. Slowly, using the wall, get closer and closer to the boost object, and as soon as you get the speed boost, jump. Keep in mind that timing for this is a lot more difficult, and this is the reason a regular C-boost is always preferable. Also, a held C-boost only works on smaller boosts, so if you want to learn larger boosts, it's best to practice regular C-boosts a lot more. Just keep in mind that held C-boosts exist, as they are useful in some rare scenarios, but you shouldn't focus your practice on getting reliable at them. Large C-boosts. Okay, so this is where it gets a little more difficult. You know the boost you get from a regular C-boost? Its speed is calculated by the size of the object on the wall. So the larger the object, the faster the boost. Sounds simple, right? Just do the same thing as the regular boost. But the thing is, the larger the object, the more difficult to set up. The angle to get the boost gets smaller as the object gets bigger, and the timing of your first jump is also more difficult. so you may have to experiment changing your setup's angle if it's off. And eventually, the angle and jump timing will just be muscle memory. But for now, a good place to practice a larger C-boost is near the beginning of High Roller Avenue. This vent will give you one of the larger boosts in the game, and you should use a setup similar to mine. Also, use the same tactics you used to learn a regular C-boost. Make sure you can get the boost without jumping first, and then begin moving your mouse and jumping. The thing about large C-boosts is that they can get really large, and the larger it gets, the more difficult. There are different sized boosts all over the place, and the more you practice, the more you can land them running around first try. Just remember how much the setup matters, and you'll be fine. Don't just throw your head at the wall of a boost with a bad setup, as it may be completely impossible to get. Find your setup, then practice with a self-made time trial for best results. One of the final bosses for large C-boosts in this game is the boost that is right at the beginning of Nomad's run. At this point, a self-made setup is almost impossible to use, and until you get more seasoned with it, just use someone else's setup. I have linked to mine in the description. The same principles apply here, just with extremely difficult timing, so don't get discouraged if you can't hit it. Just keep practicing and experimenting with jump timings until you get semi-reliable with the setup, but this may take hours for some to get reliable at, and some may get it immediately. Just remember, if you can't get it, boosts of this difficulty are very rare, and it may be better to take breaks and practice smaller boosts to get the hang of those better. You don't have to be perfect, and I usually only practice boosts like this whenever I'm forced to use them in a run. If you want to know fundamentals, you can skip these extremely large boosts entirely, and practice them only when you need to use them. Irregular boosts. This is where things start to get more abstract. Certain boosts around the map don't conform to the usual norms of C-boosts, such as TV boosts. Some may be near impossible to get without moving your mouse, and some may have weird setups that force you to move your reticle far away from the object. Usually, with boosts such as this, it's better to either experiment and find the setup yourself, or find someone else's who has hit it before and use theirs. A lot of boosts in this game are up for interpretation, and it may just take practice, different setups, and time to get these boosts. We will have tons of options for different boosts in the same area, so just go out there and find your own path. The Art of Pressing CTRL. For every boost I've explained in this video, it's possible to press your crouch key instead of the second jump on a boost. This will give you the boost, but not the first large jump, allowing you to bunny hop instead, and in some situations this may be preferable. Just keep in mind, pressing crouch is slower on the first part of the boost than jumping, but it may be required for some setups, so experiment with this. It can be used with mostly every boost, and there may be some great setups that haven't been found yet, so get out there. This is going to be the stopping point for this particular video. If you want to suggest a trick I may have forgotten about, or that you want to see in the future, do it in the comments, as I've been trying to get a full list of tricks going, because there always seems like there are more and more every time I think about what I use when I play the game. Remember also that these videos do not have a strict release schedule, so don't count on them getting released regularly, but I'll try my best. I'm making these videos because I want to see the game stay alive as much as it can, so thanks for running, and I hope you learned something.